Hey all, we are just days away from the kickoff for the community mission to Rescue 22. Sunday, this coming up Sunday. Well, if you're watching this before Sunday the 19th, this coming up Sunday, we are kicking off community mission to Rescue 22 with Carolyn Rasmussen, our pampered chef representative, who is going to be hosting a party on the PAC channels. Uh, you can also go to communitypayitforward.us to the podcast link on the little search bar up there. Go to there, and you will be able to watch directly from the website, and you can take a look around while you're watching. Even just go to the homepage and go all the way to the bottom, and you can find it because we do have our direct feeds from the Facebook pages to the website. So we are extremely excited about this. This is the first time that we're going to be doing a party for Caroline on our channels. And every time we make a sale, a portion goes to these wonderful partners right along here. We will also be having people from all over who are going to be talking about their what they do and their support of our veterans in the community. People, and you can see a whole bunch of them up here up top, and we're still working on getting more to come with us. If you would like us to invite you, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is reach out to me. Right there is my For My card. You go to my For My card, and I'm gonna do this real quick. Sorry about that. This is a little unprofessional, but I am going to go on ahead and put this back up here. But then in the comments, in which I can't do because I don't have it designed anywhere. But when I replay this, I will put it in the comments, and that way you have it hyperlinked, and my For My card will come up. Matter of fact, I will link it to the description. That way, it'll be hyperlinked there. One of the other things that we've got going on is we've got the Goddess of the Grape, and this is actually the kickoff of the kickoff. But we started this on February 1st. I realized I discovered the other day I was saying it completely wrong my entire life, wrong my entire life, and it's February or something. February. I'm just going to say it the way I've always said it. February 1st. And what we are looking at, what we are doing is every time you make a purchase of One Hope Wine, well, guess what? You get to tell us where a portion of that sale you would like to go. Every time you make a purchase of One Hope Wine, you can donate a portion to GI Josie, Healing Warriors, Hope Advanced, Project Die Hard, Veterans Honoring Veterans, the Veterans Ranch, or VWAS, Veteran Warrior One Stop Shop. Very simple. Scan one of those QR codes, and it's going to take you to Stephanie's website. You make a purchase of any wine from that website, and 10% of your purchase will go directly to that organization. Once again, GI Josie, Healing Warriors, Hope Advanced, Project Die Hard, Veterans Honoring Veterans, Veterans Ranch, and VWAS, Veteran Warrior One Stop Shop. You can support all of them by simply purchasing a little bit of wine. And let's be honest here, who doesn't like having a little bit of wine for dinners or get-togethers or whatever? I know we're a little late for Valentine's Day, but you know what? Maybe you can have like a later Valentine's Day. My wife and I aren't really celebrating until Friday. Why not celebrate with a little bit of wine on Friday or next week or the week after that? Or damn it, you're married. Celebrate Valentine's Day every day. It shouldn't have to be just one day. Celebrate every day. Carolyn Rasmussen. She is going to be cooking some dishes, and this is exciting for me to announce because I just found out about this. I just asked, and she said, "Sure, I'll do it." You're going to have my wife on the screen with us, with Carolyn. My wife is going to be cooking along with Carolyn the jambalaya, the chili, and the king's cake. Now, you may be asking, well, if I'm going to be cooking this stuff, don't I need the ingredients? Well, of course you do. It's hard to cook anything without the ingredients. So here you go. Here are the ingredients. Here's for the jambalaya. You will need the following: 4 pre-cooked sausage links, because I love me some sausage. Boneless chicken breasts, a small onion, red bell pepper, celery stalks, clove, Cajun season, canola oil, chicken broth, fire roasted diced tomatoes, long grain white rice, hot sauce, and parsley leaves. You can also add some shrimp in there if you'd like. And I know that we will probably be adding shrimp into ours. My wife does not know this yet, but I'm actually really hoping that I get to have my son in the kitchen with my wife. He's supposed to be here either Friday, or I'm sorry, or either Saturday or Sunday. So he may be cooking with her. So we may make it a complete family affair. My son does not know this yet. I've actually only got to meet my son like for a 20-minute period of time. So, welcome to the family, son. You're on my web show. Surprise! To create the king's cake, here are the following things you will need: 1 package of cream cheese, softened, because if you don't soften it, it's pretty damn hard. 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 egg, which means it's going to be about a $42 cake, 1.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, Granny Smith apples. Boy, that sounds good. Refrigerated crescent rolls, in which is going to be funny because you're going to have to watch me run out there to pop the crescent rolls for her because she doesn't like those things. So, pecan halves chopped, milk, purple, yellow, and green colored sugar for decorating. And then the next is for an easy weeknight chili. You will need the following: canola oil, chopped onion, 90% ground beef, garlic cloves, chili powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. I have never heard of cocoa in a chili. I'll be honest with you, I haven't. Cumin, seasoned salt, tomato paste, beef broth, fire roasted tomatoes, mild chili beans in sauce. Wait, real chili doesn't have beans? Well, this one does, and it is real chili. Now, I don't know about it being real chili with cocoa, but hey, you know what Carolyn says? Carolyn means it. So, and then here, let me hide this right here, and I'll bring it right back up. And then optional sliced green onion, sour cream, shredded cheddar cheese, and jalapeno slices. And it says optional, but if you don't put cheese in your chili, you are wrong. Wrong. Cheese comes in chili. Even though I like I'm a guy who likes cinnamon rolls with my chili. I think cinnamon rolls are basically mandatory with chili. So, you know, that's kind of how I roll, as the kids today say. So, if you would like these recipes, I ask you to please go to communitypayitforward.us. That is communitypayitforward.us, as my dog is chewing on a bone and making a lot of noise. Communitypayitforward.us, and we will have it right there. For the next couple days, this video will be put on as soon as you enter into the website, so you can always find the recipe there as well. For the rest of this interview, for the rest of this show, we are going to have on the bottom of the screen, we will have the link that you can follow, this one right here. And from now until, wow, that is one hell of a glare that the sun is kicking my butt with right now. For the rest of this show, we will have that link on the screen, so you can so you are able to go to that link and say you can't join us on Sunday. Well, I'm telling you right now, you can. So just stop that. Join us on Sunday, okay? You know why? Because everything else is over with. So why not? Again, everything else will be over. What else is there? Well, there may be a hockey game on, but look, I cook and watch hockey all the time. I do. Gotta have something to do while you're cooking. If not, you just end up fat and ugly like me. So let's be honest here. Having something on at the same time is probably a pretty good idea. So what we're doing is we are going back and we're going to play the show of Carolyn when we introduced our plan. So we invite you to watch this show, watch this recording, because this is where we introduced the plans for the program, and set this all up. This is a great interview. You learn a lot about her. You learn a lot about what she enjoys. And while you're watching this program, I'm going to get up and shut that window because I'm already shiny enough. I don't need the help of the sun to continue to make me shiny. So here is Carolyn Rasmussen as we introduce our plans to support the community mission to Rescue 22. This is amazing. Okay, we're going to be bringing on somebody who joined us in the middle of last year, middle of last year. Carolyn, do you remember?
It was probably over the summer if I had to guess.
Okay, so we're going to go early middle. That'll work. But she joined with us early middle last year, and we've been, as everybody well knows, we've been still struggling to find our way. And there's Brody Light right there on her side.
He keeps coming in. My husband was coming downstairs, and so he likes to protect me from my husband.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure if you know this, but now,
yes,
he's called a Dalmador. He's Dalmatian and Labrador, and then you can't really see her too well, but that's my baby girl. She's black and white. She is she heard her name, so she's going to be jumping up here. But she is part
Greyhound and Border Collie.
Okay.
So really thin dog, but yeah, because I missed Brody, I ended up bringing in two more. The funny thing is my wife and I, we went to go look for a small dog for her to have up in her office during the workday, when that she could have on her office and do the whole, oh, cute dog, and we come home with this behemoth that, the Dalmador ghost, and so that kind of backfired on us, but we saw him and he was just so perfect. So I've always loved Dalmatians. I thought that they were beautiful dogs. So
I
to have
agree.
one that's also part Labrador, really intriguing. The one thing that we need to get repaired on him though is we've got to get him a slower tail because he just cannot catch his.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that
but
happens.
so we are being joined by Carolyn Rasmussen. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
Well,
Join the Texas weather. I think we're a bit warmer than you right now.
I'm going to say you probably are. It's actually, you know what? It's not that cold, but it's been snowing all day long, which is just annoying. It's kind of one of those things that, look, if you're going to snow, be cold, get it done, get it over with. Let's push it all into the mountains and leave it there. But
Yep.
right now it's 34 degrees, which to us in Colorado, our 34 is a lot different than other places 34. Okay, if I was in Chicago, we'd be dying right now because it's so cold. But our 34, we can walk around without coats usually. It's not that cold.
When we ski and it's 34, we get hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. So,
Yep.
but well, we have some great news for everyone coming up at the end of this interview. Carolyn is going to be doing something fantastic, and it's going to help out a lot of people. So stick around till the end. Carolyn, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you and we talked about this as we were trying to get this whole thing set up. Your whole family, you guys are tech. I don't
A&M,
A
Texas
and M.
A&M.
Okay, and see, that's one of those states that I knew I didn't want to mess up and say the wrong college, and I'm like, "Ugh."
Yes.
Usually you wear a shirt so I wouldn't screw it up.
You notice the shirt's still maroon though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So,
Yes.
tell me this: how did you? What was your reaction to TCU just getting destroyed?
Well, I felt like they did earn their spot. I mean, they won their way there. So
Hey,
that
I
was
agree.
cool.
Yeah,
But it did show the disparity between Big 12 and SEC.
yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. I I've been a long time, which is weird. Okay, I admit this is weird, but I don't really have an affiliation with either school. I am a K State Kansas fan.
Hmm.
So, and yeah, I couldn't, what happened with K State against Alabama, showed, but K State at least put up a fight against them, which made me happy. So, hey,
Right.
got to see the husband there for a second.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, it was kind of one of those things. I kind of forgot the whole game was going on. I took and I switched over and I said, "Whoa." And I switched away real quick. I wasn't gonna watch any
Yeah.
61-7 when I turned it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not. Nah. Okay.
Alabama's a tough one. We actually showed up pretty well against Alabama, but the rest of our season fell apart. So, it's college ball.
Yeah, yeah. So, but your family, your husband, yourself, your oldest son are all A&M, and now your youngest son is committing.
He's working on it. We're positioning him to. He's a junior in high school, so we're in the throes of getting everything so that he will apply this summer, and we will cross our fingers that he gets in. Every year, Texas is so competitive with their universities, and A&M is one of the top universities people want to go to. So it's just really, really, really hard to get in. So we're going to just try and position him the best we can and figure out what his path to become an Aggie is.
Is there athletics in his no, it's just academic, and
Yeah.
they're even competitive with their academic.
Yeah. So the only auto admits are the top 10% of their graduating class.
That is very intriguing, and I'll be honest. I think I really love that, because it makes ambitious kids become more ambitious and
Yeah.
try a little harder. I can understand on your side, I can understand why it's probably quite a bit frustrating. I mean, it's not like Texas is Montana, where there's 13 kids in the whole state, but
The challenge is depends on your school district. So, for example, my oldest son, when he got admitted, he graduated from high school in 2020, and they still had top quarter was auto admit. And in our school district, he had a 4.02 or 4.03. He was 53rd percentile.
wow.
So he was nowhere even close to the top quarter. However, if you're not the top 10%, you can opt out of ranking. Therefore, he wasn't ranked on the transcript at the A&M. So A&M said, with a 4.02, all these AP classes, surely he's top quarter. Bam, we'll put him in the top quarter. So he's an auto admit. Now that top 10% is required, top 10%, the school has to rank you. So if you're not ranked, then the universities automatically know you're not in the top 10%. And so now, and my younger son's academically not as strong as my older son was. So we have to work a whole different angle. And so it just becomes top 10% is not many kids. And if you're in a competitive school district like we are, where it's a college prep public school district, you got, the top 10% are the kids who have all A's in every single AP class, and they've taken all of them. I mean, it's just not realistic. So it's a challenge, but we'll get there. We'll find a way.
Well, I wish you and I wish your son the best of luck. I truly do. We here are having, as a matter of fact, I have a meeting to go to here in a couple weeks, because my foster son, the son that we fostered, they're graduating him this year. Yeah, he still has the difficulties. Yes, he does have a few challenges with some DD, but he doesn't do well with like the alphabet, addition, just simple things. And I think that's one of the things that just really bugs me, is that these schools are passing, I don't want to say troubled youth, but challenged youth, maybe. They're just passing them through instead of trying to really put an effort behind teaching them. And it's something that, and of course, we got to Andrew very late in life. We didn't get him until he was 17 years old, which is where he's at now. So, we're trying to do things different. And I think it's hard, because I want him to feel normal as he can feel, but with his challenges, I know that is difficult for him. So
that's a whole other conversation. But yes, parenting and school requires hands-on anymore. You can't just send your kid off to school and assume everything is going to go well. And my son, my younger one, has more challenges, and so we've had to live that. We've had to walk that walk. Fortunately for him, part of why I do Pampered Chef is because I can stay home, right? And so I've been able to be in the PTA. I've been able to be in front of the principals and the counselors and the teachers and be available. I have a meeting next week at 2:00 with the teacher, because my son has shocking, never really learned how to study. They don't teach them how to study, right? So the reasons I put him in these AP classes is not to get the college credit, but to learn how to study, because I know the rigor in an AP class is different. Well, I'm available. I'm not at a job that requires me to be 8 to 5. I have extreme flexibility in my schedule. So I've had to walk that walk, but that's where Pampered Chef has fit for me, because I could still earn money. I could still change lives. I could still impact others, but yet I am 100% here for my kids all the time. I was my degree is in IT from A&M, and I was an IT person prior to having my first child, and I knew I couldn't do both because that's too demanding. And then, a few years down the road, I gave Pampered Chef a try on a total whim, but that's because I wanted to be there. And then it panned out to be the most amazing thing as my kids have walked through, and then the younger one needing even more from me. I've been there. And yeah, you've got a challenge because you're coming in late, and but it's a hands-on thing. You've got to parent and advocate for your kids, but then teach them to advocate for themselves too. And it's not hands off. It is not at all.
Were you and I hate this term, but were you a chef prior to Pampered Chef?
No.
Were you a fan of being in the kitchen? Were you an artiste when it comes to food?
No. So, let's go back. I'm an IT person. That means I'm extremely analytical. I'm a problem solver, and I follow a process. I did grow up with a mom who cooked. We ate at home 95% of the time. My father didn't enjoy restaurants and didn't enjoy spending money at a restaurant. So we almost always ate at home. And my mom was always really good about involving us in the kitchen. So I knew how to cook. I could cook all through college. When I had an apartment, I cooked a lot of our meals, couldn't afford. Now, some of them might have been creative, like we took Kraft mac and cheese and put hot dogs in it. That was, our creativity. I'm a recipe follower. However, I did naturally have the desire to cook. Naturally wanted to provide that for my family. One thing that's huge for us that is near and dear to me is eating dinner around the table every night. And so sometimes we do that with takeout, but most of the time we do it for ourselves. And the only way to eat healthy is to know what you're putting in on your plate and how you're cooking it. So that's kind of part of the way Pampered Chef fits in. And it was just, I didn't expect it. I really didn't do this thinking I'd be here 12 years. Honestly, I just did it because I thought it might be interesting to get out of the house a few days a month and not have to put the kids to bed, And then it turns out that I had a passion for it because I've always wanted to help people. I've always been driven to help people, and this gave me that. But no, and it's funny, people will join Pampered Chef to learn how to cook. So Pampered Chef, I think I would put emphasis on the pampered and a lot less on the chef, because the whole purpose, Pampered Chef, since its inception in 1980 with Doris Christopher, was how to help the common person. At that time was more housewife, right? In the 1980s, we were still fighting that stigma, but how to make the average family have the tools and the recipes to get food on the table easier, somewhat healthier. In the early days, there was a lot of Pillsbury Crescent dough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We moved away from that, but just really get families back around the table, because that's the heart of the table. That dinner time, everybody has to eat, and that's the time you get dedicated face-to-face time with your spouse and your kids and everything, and that priceless. And so that's what I love to do. And do I love cooking? It's a necessary evil, but it's more fun when you have tools.
Yeah, that's true. When you got a can opener that doesn't work, pretty damn frustrating trying to open a can with a hammer.
Yes, it is.
And I'll you and I, we've discussed this before. We discussed it the other day. That here shortly, I'm going to be getting a can opener from you because the one I've got now are the cheapy $2 ones, and it works better than any of the other ones that I've had. But saying this, it still doesn't work. You've got to, if you try to squeeze it too hard, it won't go. If you try to squeeze it too light, it won't go. So you got to find that nice perfect medium and have it spin a little bit until it, until it catches. So yeah. What is your favorite Pampered Chef item?
I get this question all the time, and it's so hard because, first of all, the whole catalog is in my kitchen. So I have so many of them, and it kind of depends on what I'm doing. I'll pick two because they're two very different ones. One is our rock crock. The rock crock is a cooking vessel. We have a Dutch oven, and then we have an everyday pan, and then we have some that are like grill stones. But the reason I love it is it's stovetop, oven, broiler, microwave, grill, and dishwasher.
Oh, wow.
So you could use, especially if you have limited space, you have one vessel that will go anywhere. But I love it. We now also just came back out with a re-release this month with a slow cooker base. So now it also is a slow cooker. So when you make that pot roast, you want to sear your pot roast first. But when you sear your meat, it's called fond, right? It's that crispy brown and the juices from it. That's the most flavor. And when you sear it in a different pan than the pan that you're going to cook it in, you lose an amount of that flavor, the fond. Well, now I can sear it in the rock crock on the stovetop. Then I can add the liquids and the vegetables and put it in my slow cooker base.
Oh, wow.
Or if you start something in the microwave because you didn't start it fast enough like you were supposed to, but you could finish it in the oven and still get some of the slow roasted flavor, right? So there's a lot of versatility when you have one pot. Plus, you can go take it out to the grill. If you're making hamburgers tonight and you want to cook beans, in Texas, sometimes in the summertime, the last thing you want to do is fire up your stove or your oven in the house. But if I'm cooking some hamburgers and I'm only using half the grill for the meat, the other half of the grill, I can set that rock crock of beans to heat up those barbecue beans alongside the hamburgers. Or I know some people love smoked mac and cheese, and you can put this in the smoker. So just the versatility is amazing. The other thing I've loved is our rapid prep mandolin, because mandolins, traditionally you have the food and you rake it across a blade. And I would say at least 50 to 60% of my customers feel like this doesn't fit in this guard right. So I'm fast enough. I can keep my fingers out of the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Never use a mandolin without a guard because you will cut yourself. So this is totally different. And instead of only slicing, it also will make French fries or julienne matchstick size. And it has a hopper, and then you actually are pushing a plunger for the blade to go across the food.
Okay.
So you have to work pretty hard to cut your fingers. But then I have one tool that will cut very even French fries. And the importance of being even is they cook even, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also we'll slice everything from paper thin, like potato chips, to thick. And then also we'll julienne. So you can do carrots, you can do tomatoes, you can do zucchini, you could do cucumbers. I mean, anything you want to do, that rapid prep mandolin will do it.
That's just going to cut down on prep time quite sufficiently.
Yes, and you can bring your kids into the mix because you don't have to worry about them cutting their fingers.
Yeah.
Which again, you go back to my passion, right? And both my boys cook, and my oldest cooks better and more involved than I do. I don't have patience to cook some of the stuff he wants to cook. And he's more creative, and so he'll like, "Oh, Mom, do this to the recipe." I'm like, "No, the recipe says this. I can't change it." So you get the kids in the kitchen, you teach them the skill.
Yeah. My oldest son, and I believe I've mentioned this to you before. My oldest son is in Japan, and his first apartment, they did not have a stove. He had No, he had a stove. He did not have an oven. And so anything that he wanted to cook, he had to find a way, in an oven, he had to find a way to cook at stovetop. So when he came down here, he asked if I wanted his help cooking, and I'm like, no, not really. I don't, I love you to death, but I'm not sure if I'm going to trust what, So he learned the value of sushi very well. Let's put it that way. And sushi's not my thing. So, tell us how. Explain to us, what is the advantage, and why should people have Pampered Chef over, we'll go Walmart brand?
So a lot of people don't understand the value of quality. They look at the price tag and say, wait a second, this is way more expensive than this one. I can do the same thing, right? You take 2 pans and you can do 2 things with the same thing with both of them. And to an extent, that's correct. But there's a couple things. One, you're going to be replacing that Walmart pan multiple times, while this other pan will probably last you, if not a lifetime, at least 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. Ours also won't be flaking off chemicals into your food. But more importantly, when you have cheap cooking tools, then you sometimes might think that you're a terrible cook because everything's burning, or it's just too hard to cut, or you cut yourself because it's dull, or whatever, or your spoons keep breaking. But in reality, the problem is you've got low quality tools, and the low quality tools are now causing your results to not be what you expected. Plus, the other thing is Pampered Chef, you have me. That's what the foundation of this company was built on. It's direct sales. And while some people have a bad taste in their mouth with that, the thing about direct sales is you have a relationship with the person you're purchasing from. So now when you get that air fryer, okay, you buy an air fryer from Walmart, that's great. And it comes with a book, and you might be able to Google things online. But when something doesn't work like you expect, who are you going to call? I don't think Walmart customer service is going to be a great big help on why your French fries didn't crisp up.
They can't find the air fryer a lot of times.
So you buy it from me, and you have my contact information, and you have someone to say, hey, wait a second, this didn't work right. Is this a problem with the way I'm using it, or is this a problem with the tool? And Pampered Chef, everything has a warranty. Depending on the product, it's different for each one. But you always have me to come back to. If you bought the rock crock, for example, this is a perfect example, and you saw me demo it and you thought it was a really great idea, you get it, you kind of set it on the side saying, I will eventually, I think the dog thought he was coming in. You will eventually use it. And then you're like, now I'm intimidated by this rock crock because this doesn't look like a normal pan. You call me, I'll send you recipes. So you build that relationship with the person you're purchasing from. And so that's another huge advantage to buying from Pampered Chef.
Why did Pampered Chef not do the buy here now, and we're going to give you 3 Ginsu knives and this cookbook, and your neighbor Sue, we're going to throw her in on the deal? Why didn't Pampered Chef go that way, and why did they go with specific professionals like yourself?
Well, Doris Christopher really started this company because she was a home ec teacher, and she was just trying to find a way to add some income to her family. And she, being a home ec teacher, was skilled in the kitchen, and her friends were asking her questions. And so she thought, well, what the heck? I'll start helping them. She lived in Chicago. There's a market there for buying the products at a wholesale. And some of her first things were like the stones. And her heart always was on the helping the customer part. So it just kind of grew from there. But the cool thing about this is I know the way you said it, you felt like you were kind of making a joke, but it kind of happens that way, right? So when you host a party, hosts get rewards. So you have your friends together and have fun with me, and I will teach you recipes and tips, and you can ask me questions. Your friends are going to buy some of the stuff because Pampered Chef, one, has new products every 6 months, and two, nobody ever buys everything that they want at one time. And everybody sees something new that they want, or they're something changed and they now cook this way or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the sales at the party, you now get free and half price and 60% off stuff. And how cool is that? Now you walk into Williams Sonoma and say, "Hey, I just brought 5 friends with me, and they're all buying stuff. Would you give me that spatula and that knife for free? And I want that air fryer for half price." You think Williams Sonoma's going to do that?
Yeah, no, probably not. No. And I'll
So
guarantee you Walmart will not.
yes, exactly, exactly. So Pampered Chef has actually created a way to market the products, yet still keep at the core the fact that we're here to help people cook for their families. And that's the core of it. Gather around the table is kind of one of our sayings, and there's always room at the table, and all of that. That's our motto. That's who Doris Christopher was, and that's who we are. Now, if you spend $80, I think it's 80. It might be changing, but you'll get a free gift. And Pamper Chef does that. It doesn't come out of my pocket. You spend $150, you'll get free shipping. So there is some of that, but it's more about making sure that you get the quality products and you don't get some cheapy thing just to make you happy. And you get the person to connect it to, so you have someone that can answer
See,
questions.
yeah, and that's kind of where I was really going with this, is that, you know what? Emerald is not going to be there to tell you how to use your pan after you buy it, no matter how many, double orders you get. He's not going to be there to do
Mm-mm.
that. So what you're doing, that's one of those, that's kind of the reason what I was digging at, is that, there's a personal touch to it. And like I said, you're an amazing person. And you did join with us uh in the summertime last year. And so you can find Carolyn's page, even though I think uh yeah, okay. Phew, I thought we had your name misspelled for a second. I was like going, oh no.
No,
uh
you got it right. You're good.
Okay, so that's good. And you can come here, and you know what? You're going to be able to watch this interview right in this box from now on. So, because this interview is going to be going into this box, but you can always get all of her information right here. And Carolyn is going to give a portion of your sales back to us, and we are going to give 80% of whatever she sends to us to the cause of your choice. So think about this. You're going to get some really, really quality items. You're going to be able to do things you've never been able to do in the kitchen. You're going to be able to bring your family together. And I'm going to switch the view here just so people can see it. Oh, I guess I got to move my mouse to the right location. That's one of the worst things about trying to do double screen when you're doing this. I got my mouse over on the other screen, and I'm like going, how come it won't go down? Well, it's over on the other one. So, but you can see more information, and you can see that you can get a hold of Carolyn at culinarycarolyn@gmail.com. That's culinarycarolyn@gmail.com. Or her phone number is right there, 214-454-7684. 214-454-7684. And just remember, every time that you make a purchase, you tell her, you know what? I saw you on Community Pay It Forward, and I want to make my purchase mean more, not just to me, not just to you, Carolyn, but we want to make it personal for someone else, So, and Carolyn, what are some of the things that you personally love to support?
I love a lot of causes. One of the one I've done recently is cancer. It hits everybody. If you haven't been impacted by it yet, you probably will. Family or friend or something. That's one of my big ones. I love doing pet ones, whether it's rescues or
Did you hear that,
any
Ghost? She's talking about you.
various pet type organizations. Another one that's really awesome that people don't always think about, because Pampered Chef doesn't require it to be a 501c or whatever,
C3. Yeah.
C3, whatever. I always get that wrong. Too many numbers and letters to put in there. But it doesn't require that. It just requires it to be an organization. I can't have the check made out to an individual person. So think about, like, I've done several for my son's robotics team, and they've earned money for their robotics team. And I've done one recently. A young man was trying to earn some money for his Eagle Scout to do his project. And so he hosted it. He was there. He helped us cook. We actually did it in person, but they also blasted the link out to friends and family, because you don't have to be local. It ships directly to the individuals. There's no deliveries. And he earned several $100s for his Eagle Scout. And, everybody orders. Pampered Chef doesn't increase the cost of the products when it's a fundraiser. It's the same price regardless. So it's the same value. Everything's the same. It's just, instead of the host rewards I was talking about before, the half price and the free, the fundraiser, it turns into money and is sent as a check. So it could be anything: soccer teams, lacrosse teams, cheerleaders, dancers, and some of the stuff that you do. I love what you do, and all the various organizations you support as well.
I wonder if that could be maybe a segue. So
Maybe.
let's see if we can work this right, shall we? We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Zach Clayton of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. We have two choices. We can either sit around and hope this goes away on its own, or we together can do something about it. Join me and my wonderful sponsor partners, Scott O'Sullivan Law Firm and Ryder Justice, Z World Webs, Auxilia Donor Management Systems, and Autumn Dahlia Creative Services, as we introduce programs from around the country aimed at helping our veterans and discuss the importance of conversation and listening. Together, you and I can move mountains. Let's save lives. I wonder what we're going to announce. Carolyn, would you please do the honors?
Yes. So I am so excited to partner with Zach and all the wonderful stuff he's doing. And on Sunday, February 19th, let's see, in Mountain Time, that would be 5 p.m. No, I'm sorry, you're backwards. So 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, if I got that right. We are going to do a live cooking show on Zoom, where I'm still formulating my menu, but I am thinking chili is going to be part of it. And so I'm going to show some really cool different tools, different ways of cooking, some wintertime comfort food. And the proceeds, again, this is going to be a fundraiser like we talked about before. The fundraiser then will go to Zach and Community Pay It Forward, and he will send it along the way to the organizations he was talking about there. It's funny because that's a near and dear to me too. I had a cousin who went to Desert Storm, and when he came back, he wasn't the same. He just wasn't the same person. He was always a quiet guy growing up. He grew up here in the Dallas area as well, so we would all the holidays and other times we'd spend time together. But what he saw at Desert Storm hugely affected him. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in 2003 from a brain tumor. It was not suicide, but that's a whole nother story where that brain tumor probably came from. Um, but I just know the impact he had from being in the tank on the front lines of Desert Storm, and I know what it does to our military folks, and we need to support them. We need to make sure that they know that they're cared about and that there is a life worth living, and it's worth putting the effort in. And so I love organizations like this that bring it to light and talk about it and make it not be embarrassing to admit these are very macho people.
Yeah. Well, we make mention quite frequently that the Army, or the services, excuse me, it's not just the Army, but all the services, they take young men and women who are just barely out of high school. And they can't even legally drink, and they take away everything that they've ever known, everything that they are, and they rebuild them to who they need them to be. And then when service time ends, they hand them a check and a handshake and say, there you go. They don't help to integrate them back into society. And it becomes very, very hard, like your cousin, when they see things that they've seen, there's not a lot of counseling there for people. Luckily, we are starting to see in society that there's that problem, and there's becoming a little more help. But then there's always going to be those, well, it's called a spade a spade. There's always going to be those jerks that are going to be sitting there saying, just stop being a wimp. But the truth is that, yeah, look, people handle things a lot differently than others. Every single one of us is different. We can handle things. We do handle things a lot differently. But with what you're offering, to be part of this, right now we are sitting at a dozen different. We're looking at a dozen different organizations that are going to be getting a portion of the money from any purchase made on February 19th. 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Central. So please, we're going to beg you to join the PAC channels. It's going to be here live on all the PAC channels, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever else I've got it. I can't remember. Oh, YouTube, I guess. So it's going to be live right there. Just please, if you need help finding it, let us know. This is too important to miss. And hey, who doesn't like a good chili? You mentioned hot dogs earlier. I'm a chili dog guy. I could eat chili dogs. And I'm we had kielbasa last night, which is one of my favorite things in the world. I'm just a sausage guy altogether. All right, I can, I am the Homer Simpson guy, I mean,
Well, then you're
get me to
bringing.
believe that there's one magical animal that bacon and sausage and ham come off of.
Well,
That's
maybe
me.
we'll toss in some jambalaya.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
get the sausage and I'll I don't know if I'll do shrimp or I'll do chicken. I usually do 2 meats in that jambalaya, so it's a very easy jambalaya. So I'll come up with some really good things to do for that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fun. I'm always throwing out tips and hints along the way, and I hope to make it in a way that can be interactive. If we can, whatever the format is, so that people can ask me questions and stuff as well. So
Yeah, you will be able to ask her questions simply by putting a question in the chat, and I'll be able to pass that along to Carolyn as we speak. I will be co-hosting with her. Of course, I'll be staying out of her way because, well, I'm in Colorado. I'm a fat guy. I'm not that fat. I can't, my girth doesn't get to Texas all that often, but, so please. Oh, let me ask you this. There will be can openers there, right?
yes, Yes. And
Okay.
actually,
Yeah. So
here's the
win-win.
cool thing. The whole catalog is available, right? So anything in the catalog you could order. I'll make sure Zach has all the information on how to order. Here shortly, we will create the link and set it up. So if there's something like a can opener you need right away, you could actually order ahead of time before the event if you care to, and still benefit the same event. We'll just keep it open through the event. And then when we're ready to close it, that's when the check will be cut. So yeah, and it's, shipping directly to you, and our shipping is very reasonable. It's $7.95 flat until you get to 150, and when you spend $150, it's free. Now I don't know if you've tried to ship anything lately, Zach, but $7.95 to ship anything, it would cost
Yeah.
me more than that to ship the can opener to you.
I tried to shift, or I shift. I tried to mail papers, and it ended up costing me over $3.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like, it's paper. That's why the mail was created, was to mail paper. Why is it costing me that? But yeah, so once again, this is going to be February 19th from 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m.
No, sorry,
Pacific.
3 p.m. Central. 3 p.m.
Yep,
Central.
Yep, 3
So
p.m.
1
Central.
p.m. 1 p.m. Mountain.
No, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific.
Okay. Yes. Okay. You're only one. Yeah. 2
Yep.
Mountain, 1 Pacific, and then we go the other way. So 4 o'clock Eastern.
4 East. Yep. So, but Carolyn is going to be doing. Carolyn is going to be doing a party, and everything that you see is going to be for sale. And not only that, but she's got a whole catalog, and all of it's going to go to benefit Community Mission to Rescue 22 and the organizations that we're working with. So this is all part, and we've got more to come. But Carolyn, you're the first one we're going to announce because you and I talked about this. I was so excited when my little pea brain decided to give me a thought, and it goes, "Hey, I got an idea," and I'm like, "I got to talk to her now." So I'm sitting there last week and just got done with physical therapy, and I'm kind of sitting there going, but when we started talking, I was extremely happy about that. So thank you, Carolyn.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for all that you do. We wish you guys and your kids, your husband, and yourself, we wish you the best of luck. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
And I cannot wait for February 19th because I think this is going to be a great way to start this week of a lot of caring and proving to people that we're there for them, and hopefully changing their mind away from making that end of life decision. So thank you very much. Once again, Carolyn, how do people get a hold of you?
So you can reach me by email at culinarycarolyn@gmail.com, or my phone number 214-454-7684, and that's probably the easiest ways at this moment. And I can text. You can text, absolutely. I'm big with texting too, and I can shoot you links to the order and everything else.
Okay, and then one of the other ways is simply by going to Community Pay It Forward and going to Pampered Chef Carolyn Rasmussen. So if you go there, or even in the little search bar, you just put Pampered Chef or Carolyn or I don't know, cooking. Carolyn's going to pop up and you're going to be able to find her. All of her information is there. You're going to be able to just take and click and get straight to her page. And again, she's going to give us a referral award every time that you go to her, and 80% of that is going to go to a cause that you choose. February 19th from at 4 East, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific. Join our party. Please make sure you tell everybody you know about this great organization and this great lady who's going to help us save lives. Carolyn, thank you very much. You and I are going to be doing a lot of working from now to hello, Zephyr. How are you doing? She knew I was going to hang up, so she had to make her appearance. She just thinks she's part of the show now. So, but please make sure that you share this information with everyone you know, and let's make a difference. So, but thank you. And I'm looking forward to working with you very closely for the next couple months.
I'm excited.
All right. We will be back here shortly. We're going to be talking to one of the missions that we're going to be supporting, VWAS, Mr. Justin Jones. So please don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
So we're not going to be talking to Justin Jones right now. We're going to be ending this video here shortly. But I do want to let you guys know one last time. We do have the ingredients for all three of the recipes. And I am excited that you guys are going to get to meet Mrs. Actually, I'm Mr. Adrian. It's not the other way around. But you do get to meet my wife, and hopefully you get to meet my son. They will be cooking along with Carolyn. They will be using they will be using this recipe using very similar techniques. They may alter, as everyone should, alter these recipes to taste. But you know what? Here are the recipes, and these recipes are going to be available on Community Pay It Forward slash podcast. Podcast? Yes, slash podcast. Okay. You can also find all of the links where this show will be. Okay. All three Facebook pages, the Twitter channel, the YouTube channel, all of it going to be right there. You're going to be able to go to any of them. Oh, yeah. And you can watch it right there on the website. So you can kind of look around while you're looking at things, while you're sauteing that small onion and the bell pepper and the celery stalks and the cloves and the Cajun seasoning and the canola oil. And I'm not going to go through the whole damn thing. Let's be honest, you can read. But jambalaya, you will need sausage links, skinless chicken breasts, onion, pepper, celery stalks, cloves, Cajun seasoning, canola oil, low sodium chicken broth, fire roasted diced tomatoes, long grain white rice, hot sauce, and parsley leaves. The King's cake. God, this sounds good. Cream cheese, powdered sugar. Sounds sweet, but it sounds good. Egg, granulated sugar, cinnamon, Granny Smith apples, refrigerated crescent rolls, pecan halves, milk, and purple, yellow, and green colored sugar for decorating. And then for the chili, canola oil, onion, lean ground beef, garlic cloves, chili powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. That still is weird to me. I have never heard of that, so I'm intrigued. Cumin, seasoned salt, tomato paste, beef broth, fire roasted tomatoes, mild chili beans. Sorry, you guys know what that's about. And sliced green onion, sour cream, shredded cheddar, and jalapeno slices. Again, that's not optional. If you make chili without cheese, you've got problems, I think. Please also remember, we have our great partnership going with One Hope Wines. using this QR code. You can support GI Josie. This QR code, Healing Warriors, Hope Advanced for this guy right here, Project Die Hard for this gal right here, Veterans Honoring Veterans, our little friend right here, Veterans Ranch, this beautiful little QR code, and VWAS, Veteran Warrior One Stop Shop. Right there's the QR code to support. Again, both of these PDFs, this information will be on the website by the time we go live tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow on Pact. Tomorrow on Pact, we are going to be talking about our 1 week from the 22-hour podcast. Plus, we will be joined by the goddess of the grape, one of my dearest friends, Stephanie Samos, will be here. We will be talking about the wines and how things are going and what we need to do to get that going even further. That's going to be it for me today. I want to put this up here one more time. If you need to get me, formycard.net, Zach Clayton. Formycard.net, Zach Clayton. You can get a hold of me. Would you like to speak? Would you like us to come to your location? Or would you like to sponsor your place and host an hour at your facility? If you do that, remember, the money that you spend goes to all of these organizations. Okay? It doesn't come here. It goes to them. This is important. We are saving veteran lives. Every time you sponsor, you go here and we come to you. You can sponsor an hour here. You can sponsor an hour there. You can sit there and invite guests to your hour. You can do whatever you want. We can provide you with guests. We co-host with you, however it does it. If you're in Northern Colorado, we will come to you. Look, 44 a day. It's got to stop. It's got to stop somewhere. Let's stop it this year. Let's stop it right now, and let's stop it together. Remember to love someone out there because someone out here loves you. Please, please remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting us all, because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. My name is Zach Clayton, the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the Pact channels. This right here is your Pampered Chef link. Use it, love it, live it. I'm trying to think of anything else, but make sure that you use it. And we will see you tomorrow night, or we will have seen you Wednesday night if you're watching this later on in the week, because we're going to be playing this every night this week. But make sure that you join us all this week leading up to Wednesday, which is our community mission to rescue 2023. So let's get this done. Let's save some lives, and let's have a lot of fun doing it. And let's eat. Thank you very much. We will talk to you, well, tomorrow, today, yesterday, probably the day before that, day before that, day before that,